The last love poem I wrote was for a boy who had the same first initial as you, and for whom I would have gladly shed the call upon my life. All I wanted was to somehow adorn his last name. He wrote poetry too, and I never knew love for language until it glinted on his lips, and I watched what looked like love dart around the room like light rays on and off mirrors. I have never ran so hard trying to catch anything in my life. I picture you in coffee shops, weaving rhyme and despondency into melody, figures of speech swaying to the beat of your heart and the thrum of your hand as it guides the tip of your pen across a pregnant page. I imagine you enjoy solitude more than you let on in your lyrics. I imagine you lingering in hope and love with the heart that last broke through and nearly broke you. I imagine you clutching the scent of past lovers to your chest and holding your breath in an attempt to abate the taste of each new day without them. I imagine the sorrow melts in your mouth like sugar cubes, hard against your tongue and the tender soft shell at the roof of your mouth with barely enough sweet blanketing your taste buds. Not quite enough to justify the unnecessary roughness of the sugar-like sorrow itself. I picture you smiling only to check for cavities. The last love poem I wrote was to convince the same boy that the call he heard on my life didn't have to come between us. I could be her, I said. I meant the woman of his dreams. Not knowing that for him there was no such thing as fantasy, just alternate reality, I failed to see how truth is just muddy water to a liar. Just a puddle to splash in, then gone like a flash when the going gets tough. It's better to cash in, better to keep that kernel of truth locked away for safekeeping and forget the key things. Got crazy quick when I saw he was already married to some other chick. Woman of God, who praised him for the way their relationship was guarded by angels, not knowing there were women like me, with close proximity, who had been deceived, but now, with the veil ripped from their eyes, were seeing the father of lies foxtrotting on her husband's lips for the first time. Funny how deceit makes a two-sided coin of everything. But I stopped laughing, and I stopped loving for what felt like the first of 9 lives. Instead, I cried while eating and slept while walking through most of sophomore year, poems pooled in my mouth like vomit, and drinking games I don't remember. I picture you somewhere, perfectly encapsulating in verse what it's like to hope in someone and call it faith, only to find out that the root of faith must be the word of God, and in its absence, only hope floats like trash in the sea. And I'm sure you know that no matter how much you personify or lavish love upon them, idols can't speak, let alone speak true. I picture you somewhere capturing life and sour moments like these in vats of lyric and song that will ferment and age for the day. You will open and pour out years of waiting into wedding glasses and savor the flavor of marital bliss. True love's kiss will taste like bouquets of your yearning and tears, and some saintly fruit God grew in you through years of groping after something in the bottom of your heart and on the tip of your tongue, and you could always name it, just could never quite claim it. But in the light of day, in the promised land, with your lips pressed to her promised hand, you'll hold past pain in the light until it becomes a prism. And thank God for rainbows and water, wine and weddings, and maybe even waiting too. I want to tell you about the best love poem I'll write. But first, I have to ask you 2 things. 1, to where do you fly when you dream? 2, have you ever searched to refine your search? Queried only to curate language that assists you better in clarifying your hunger, not curbing your appetite, but tracing the boundaries of the ache, sketching the perimeter of your desire so those bedtime prayers to God have unambiguous annotation, so the silhouette of the answer is clear enough for him to fill in the blank. I'm asking for a friend who sticks closer than a brother, who first brought you to me in a dream and said, "This is my beloved son, in whom I am well pleased. I will teach you how to love him by first teaching you how to love me."